Добрий день, everybody. Мадяр на зв'язку. Спробую простими словами пояснити ефект операції, що відбулася декілька днів тому на півострові Крим на військовому аеродромі Саки. Там, де трошки потріпало військової техніки та пілотів тої авіації, котра ще 2 дні тому наносила дуже неприємні вдари по лінії фронту на Херсонському напрямку, живим свідком котрих я сам декілька разів був і навіть мав можливість знімати роботу ворожої техніки під час польоту на дронах у рамках виконання аеророзвідувальних робіт. То ці літачки літали нижче наших дронів, під нами літали і лупили по нашим позиціям. Але ці кадри вже десь після війни можна буде публікувати. Не про це я зараз хочу розповісти. Хочу розповісти, в чому надважлива особливість того, що відбулося. Перш за все, ЗСУ використало ефект раптовості, зберігши у тайні те, що ми нарешті отримали протирадіолокаційні ракети «Харм». Більше ефекту раптовості не буде, але тепер ворог мусить знати, що в будь-який момент його ті застосунки будуть діставати на досить великій відстані. Принцип роботи тої ракети наступний. Вона ідентифікує сигнали систем РЛС, це радіолокаційних систем локаторів, і систем ЗРК, зенітно-ракетних комплексів. Цими двома системами ворог регулярно заважає на
You ain't taking me alive, lawman. I'm a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from Arizona. Well, actually, I'm Joe Alton, MD, also known as Dr. Bones of doomandbloom.net, where you'll find over 1,000 articles, podcasts, and videos on medical preparedness for any disaster. I'm also the co-author of the Survival Medicine Handbook, some of the ways that you can use the triangular bandage to deal with injuries off the grid. Now, I'm not saying that these are always the best way to deal with the trauma in question, just what you can do if all you have is a triangular bandage or two in your pocket and maybe some found objects. To paraphrase an old saying, there's more than one way to splint a cat. Nurse Amy will now demonstrate on an antique dummy.
This is a demonstration of how to stabilize a sprained ankle. Now, we have taken off his boot because our triangular bandage is not quite long enough to keep it on. If you have something else that's a little bit longer, that would be great. So we have removed the boot, but we're going to stabilize this ankle. Fold it up to be 3 or 4 inches so you don't cut into the skin. Go across the top of the foot, cross on the bottom, go to the back of the ankle, cross there, come to the front, again crossing. Take the excess, go underneath the sides here, and do the same thing on the other side. Give this a little bit of a tug because you want to make sure that the ankle doesn't move too much. And then you're going to go ahead and tie it on top of the foot. Now, I would make sure that you do have a sock underneath there, or at least some padding. You don't want this to be directly on skin. You want to make sure that you have padding here. I would also check the circulation. I would cut off this portion of the sock, check capillary refill, make sure that the tissue is nice and pink. I would also make sure that you had a pulse here so that you know this is not too tight. But this is a nice way to stabilize an ankle. Okay, today we're going to demonstrate how you would hopefully put pressure on a hand injury. So let's say he was bleeding, hopefully he stopped. We have extra gauze that we use for direct pressure, but at this point we have just used an extra triangular bandage. So you could use that for direct pressure. Hopefully we've stopped it, but you want to maintain pressure, and I don't have an actual pressure dresser, so we're going to MacGyver one. You want to maintain the pressure. You want to take the folded up triangular bandage, try and keep it about 3 or 4 inches wide. I think that always makes it better. Sort of drape it over the hand like this. You want to try to maintain some pressure while you're wrapping. Now you can use the saying of thumb, pinky, pinky, thumb. Very secure. And he just happens to have a screwdriver. We're going to put that in here, tie one time around that. There's a lot of different things you could use. And then we would turn this, and we would turn this and turn this until the bleeding stops. So let's put a little bit of pressure on here. And we're going to say the bleeding stopped. You want to make sure that it doesn't unfold itself. So you're going to need to wrap around that piece. And so we need to go here, bring this to the back so it prevents it from turning, and go underneath and just go ahead and tie it. So what I did was I took a piece of this bandage right here, went behind it. Actually, you can twist it twice depending on the material so that it doesn't unwrap. You see what I'm doing? I'm keeping tension on this. Take the other piece, go underneath, and then tie that off. You want to make sure that you're tying off over the padded area. Again, you don't want any of this string or the triangular bandage to be on the skin directly, because you don't want to put any pressure on just skin. But this will keep it from unwinding. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate an eye injury. It could be a chemical eye injury. If that's the fact, then we're actually going to have irrigated the eye. You want to have your left or your right eye injured? Your left, okay. So want to make sure you tilt the eye so when you're irrigating, that chemical that was in the eye does not run into the other eye. Makes sense, right? Make sure you also wear gloves. But you want to have irrigated that. If we would also pad the area, make sure again you go around the impaled object. And this is just padding. What we've taken is a coffee cup, cut a small bottom portion of it so it has a solid bottom. Put another piece of gauze halfway, it's got a smaller hole here. That will be placed on the pad. Now that impaled object is not going to be touched. Stabilized, so sir, if you could just hold your arm in place. It comes with a safety pin, and you can actually also use that to secure this part. But you want to make sure that the hand is against the body, that it's not too tight on the neck, and it doesn't.
Then in half diagonally, you might
I'm willing to die for what I believe. Are you?
I made this for you.
I'm here for you.
Keep me safe, old friend.
I have the will to survive.
Is this all it takes to defeat you?
My brothers, I need your aid!
Let us share in the bounty of the world.
It won't be long.
I stand with my allies. will do anything to look after my people.
They never saw this coming. Ready.
I'm ready for combat.
I've come to bring wisdom. I'm willing to die for what I believe. Are you? Hope this works.
That's more like it.
It's all over.
Let's say you deal with this.
If I'm lucky, I'll survive this.
By helping myself, I'm helping all of us.
The Ghoul are under our protection.